Well, what's up, Danger? It is me, the comic outlaw, and of course with Magnus. And if you're wondering why I'm not doing my usual catchphrase, and you've seen Spider Verse, you know why.
I wanted to say what's up, Danger. You came out immediately with it.
You just said it.
That is true. Now we both have said it.
It's a wonderful song too.
It is. So I guess since we're talking about coming out of floodgates, it had great music in Spider-Man Enter the Spider-Verse. I mean, Post Malone, had Sunflower, What's Up, Danger.
Malone, yep.
They had the music that's a little more synonymous with Penny Parker in it.
Yeah, They Don't Want It Here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, just the soundtrack, it was really good.
It wasn't just the soundtrack, it was also the actors too. I mean, Nicolas Cage was a perfect. Alright, we're just going to do spoilers right now. This is, of course, Spider-Man Spider-Verse.
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys haven't seen it, pause this, go see it, and then rewind and watch our show.
Or watch this and then watch Into the Spider-Verse.
Be amazed.
But, watching it and hearing Nicolas Cage's voice, but I couldn't match the voice to the man. I'm just like, that voice is so familiar. I will have to watch the credits to specifically see who is doing the voice of Spider-Man Noir.
I knew it right away. I've seen so many Nicolas Cage movies over the years. I'm a fan of Nicolas Cage. I mean, he's had his bad movies. I'm actually one of the few people that actually likes Ghost Rider.
I liked both Ghost Riders.
It was corny. The villain was shitty.
Yeah.
But, Nicolas Cage, I thought, did a good job as Blaze.
Yeah.
And it's just Cage craziness, and it works so well with Spider-Man Noir. But, of course, if you haven't seen it, it's about a kid named Miles. He's from an alternate multiverse where Spider-Man basically just gets whatever he wants. I mean, not whatever he wants. Of course, his uncle dies, but his Aunt May's like Alfred.
Yeah.
He has he has his own spider cave.
Yeah.
Spider suits, basically he's like Batman, except he's Spider-Man, but he's Batman.
And Peter B. Parker said it's just like me, but blonde and perfect,
Yes.
And and then also things are going absolutely great with him and Mary Jane.
Yeah, of course he ends up dying, and then Miles kind of takes over, and then we meet Peter B. Parker, which actually he kind of stole the show for me a little bit. I felt like some of it was about him.
Yeah.
A lot of the story, and he's the 36-year-old version of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's see. In the story, Peter was bitten as a kid, so he was 16.
Yeah.
22 years plus.
Yeah, I think he's around 15, 16 when he's
so he's 38.
Yeah.
37.
Yeah.
He's reaching his 40s. He's kind of been through everything the superhero game's been through.
Yeah.
He's got himself a pot belly. He's lost Mary Jane. He's lost Aunt May.
Yeah.
He's in that midlife crisis point.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually really thoroughly enjoyed that character.
Yeah. And the reason that him and Mary Jane broke up is because she wanted to have kids. Once again, they're getting older in life, and he freaked and couldn't do it, and so it's just she's like, I can't be with you then.
Yeah, I bet it was other problems too.
Yeah.
Well,
he was mentioning being a superhero too much, and that also hurt the relationship.
Yeah, I think it was more Spider-Man, less Parker.
Yeah. And then I guess next up in the roster is Spider-Man Noir.
Yes. Well, we've been talking about him. He was the first one.
Yeah.
Nicolas Cage.
He did an amazing job. You were talking about stilling scenes with Peter B. Parker. Every scene that Nicolas Cage, that Spider-Man Noir is, and he does amazing. And interestingly enough, he ad-libbed a lot of his lines.
Yes, that was very fascinating.
Yeah.
And they just told him to go full Nick Cage.
Yeah, like in any of the special features would see with the voice actors. The voice actors reading out a script, doing amazing. But him, it's just he's looking off to the side, being Nicolas Cage. And and I'm like, is he not reading off the script? No, he's just being Nicolas Cage. And the director and the vocal coach, voice actor coach is all in with it.
I like the part where they're discussing his future and Nicolas Cage goes, "I'm looking right at him."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know, like he just seems to break the fourth wall so effortlessly. That only Nick Cage could pull that off as a cartoon character.
Yeah.
We had Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham. Spider-Ham is probably one of the more powerful spider beings, because not only does have all the regular spider person powers, but then also has cartoon powers. Like I believe Venom, which I don't think is even might be a pig Venom, but like he just completely wrecks and demolishes Spider-Ham by being so brutal, but it does nothing to Spider-Ham.
Yeah, and it depends. You're watching the cartoons, and Spider-Ham has had multiple appearances too.
Mm-hmm.
There was an issue called What the, where it was just strange. Like Wolverine was a girl and it had adamantium fingernails.
Yeah.
It was like all this weird, like kind of like Mad Magazine combined with Marvel.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was in that too.
Yeah.
Early on, very fascinating stuff. We have a newcomer too, Penny Parker.
Yeah, she's one of the more recent additions. So Penny Parker is from the future, and her present would be everyone else's future, and she is quite more different in this than in the comic book.
Yes.
In the comic book is more akin to Evangelion or Pacific Rim, where she's bitten intentionally by the radioactive spider to have them psychically link, and then they both control a giant spider mech.
Yeah, and the unique thing wasn't her uncle; it was her father that actually died.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, and I believe it was her mother, where it's just like, hey, you're the only one that's compatible for this because it was meant for him, but now like she must take on the mantle.
Mm-hmm. The robot in the comics is a little disappointing. I love the robot in the cartoon. Like we were talking about that. I love the faces. I love how it just looks. You know, the bond they seem to have.
Yeah.
I think the computer screen with the facial expressions.
Yeah, that does like emojis and emoticons.
Yes, I like that a lot more.
Yeah.
And just the armor face, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also thought that was really cool.
Yeah, and since they had like that she's able to do hacking and the machine could do like scanning, so they had that, in their pocket, which helped really move on the story, which worked really well.
Yeah, and then of course we must talk about the central character, Miles.
Miles Morales, who...
And we've been saving another character because I want to talk about both of them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Miles is interesting. I mean, he's not Parker.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the fact that he's totally different.
Yeah.
He has his own style. You know, he's a kid, and they don't try to make him a clone.
Yeah.
Which is my problem with sometimes when they do these reboots, they try to make it the same exact character.
Yeah.
And
they let him be his own character.
Yeah, I love how, like, in the Spider-Verse or even Spider-Man 2099, how when they make a Spider-Man character, they let that character be separate.
Yeah, Spider-Man 2099 is kind of a more akin to a vampire than a spider, so...
Yeah, and then he is actually, in the end, ta-da!
Yes.
But that's not the hidden character we're talking about. The other one that has a very unique relationship with Miles is the Ghost Spider-Man.
Yes, so also known as Spider-Gwen, Gwen Stacy's Spider-Man, which her origin is a little more interesting. Instead of losing a family member, in this, I believe they said that
it was
lost Peter Parker.
Yeah, he becomes the Lizard.
Yeah, and I think the comic book played out slightly differently, but the main idea was still there.
Yeah, and then in some of the cartoons, it's like a thing where she fakes the spider abilities, and in some she actually has it.
Yeah.
I prefer that she has it.
Yeah.
It makes sense. I do love her character in this. She's a great foil for Miles.
Yeah.
Because Miles tries to be cool, but he's just kind of just a kid trying to find his own way.
Yeah. What I liked is that she was also kind of like the next step that Miles is going to be, because like she hasn't been Spider-Man as long as Peter Parker be, so that, but like, she's already naturally very confident and very keen on who she is. So being Spider-Man, at least as far as the movie shows, it kind of like more easy for her. And so it's just like, oh yeah, she's a Spider person, no problem. So it's just like Miles is like, this is like my next step, and eventually will become Peter Parker B. It's like it's kind of showing potential Miles Morales futures.
I think what gives Gwen a thing too is that her father was a cop, not just a cop, but a high up cop.
Yeah, and Miles Morales' father is also a cop.
Yes, but they don't get along.
Well,
like the way that Gwen and like
Yeah.
they have like a Barbara Gordon, Jim Gordon relationship.
Yeah.
You know,
And
very close.
For the Miles' relationship with his dad, it's not like, oh, they hate each other. I mean,
No,
it's just
nothing like that.
Miles is trying to figure himself out and become his own person, while the dad's like, you know, you're my son, I love you. It's like, no. Step back. I need to be me. You know, and so there's that kind of divide, and so it's it's hurting the dad. I wish I had they had the mom in it a little bit more.
Oh yeah, I found out she's actually voiced by the captain of Dexter. You know that? She played Maria Lagueta.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that was weird. That was a nice little tidbit, you know.
Yeah.
I was surprised on that, but I do love the relationship between Miles and Gwen. It's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought it fit appropriately, and I thought another relationship that they didn't really talk about was the relationship that B. Parker has with Gwen too.
Okay. Yeah.
Because like if you notice because in the original comics, in case you guys didn't know, Gwen and Spider-Man dated. The Green Goblin, it's so convoluted because later on they did a rehash where Green Goblin and her hooked up in Paris and it was like one of the ugliest,
most people like that
ugliest, most disgusting scenes. Like you see the Green Goblin all like,
also like
they have kids and like he throws her off the thing.
She was still in high school, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway, she dies. He kills her, and Spider-Man tries to save her, breaks her neck. You know, with a because he's too late. It starts this whole revenge thing.
Yeah.
So in Parker's reality, that happened.
Yeah.
You know, and now that this almost 40-ish Parker is talking to this teen Gwen, it's like a big brother, little sister kind of.
I kind of felt like it was for like Miles, it was kind of like a father mentor figure.
Yeah.
But for Gwen, it felt like, oh, you're the goofy uncle.
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, and they listened to each other though. It was very fascinating.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool. You know, like the inner relationships of they did a really good job in connecting everyone.
Yeah.
Even if certain characters didn't have a whole lot in it, they still had moments together.
Yeah.
You know, which really made sense. It really drew the whole movie together. And another dude we need to talk about, I talked about in the previous show when I opened his toy, was Prowler.
Yeah.
The uncle. That was awesome. At first, I did not like the way that I'm gonna say this now. I did not like the way they made Kingsman. He looked like a bar of soap.
Yes, he was weird looking. Yeah.
He looked like a bar of soap.
Yeah, he did. A bar of soap where like his head was like almost in the middle of him. And
yeah, he was oddly shaped. I just couldn't it was really weird to me. And I found it extremely odd, a little jarring.
Yeah, I guess they were trying to push like how strong he is by sheer mass, and like it made it more believable that he could be a fighting competitor for Spider-Man. But it's just like I don't think anybody was doubting it.
Yeah, I wasn't.
Yeah,
but I just thought that was weird, you know. But other than that, they did a decent job. He was trying to use this dimensional thing to find a version of his wife and kid because they died. The motive was good. It was good enough. I would like to see a little more put into it.
Yeah.
I had problems with the Dr. Octopus chick.
Octavia?
Yeah.
I thought she was really cool. I liked her. Oh, what's up?
The arms look like they should be appearing in adult films.
I really liked the arm because it seemed like a more sort of future like tech where it's just like something with the it looked like it was some sort of plastic gel, and like maybe there's like electrical surges to cause them like constrict, and like so they were trying to work more like muscles than using hydraulics. I thought it was really cool.
Well, maybe I'm just used to the standard Doc Ock, you know. I mean, I'm a Doc Ock fan. I just like the metal arms. I think that's what it is. It's preference.
And I gotta say,
I didn't mind the character.
You're not wrong. It looks like that there's certain Japanese cartoons that something that would go into. So, so you're not wrong. But as far as her with the character, you know, they show her in advance, and as like, oh, she's this leading scientist, and then they make the reveal, which I thought was really cool, where it's just like, oh no, Spider-Man's in trouble.
Yeah, and Peter's
I guess I'm going to enjoy this, and it's like, gets ready to fight.
Yeah, like how Peter was hitting on her.
Yeah.
They made a Mexican scorpion. That was...
Yeah.
that was kind of there.
I mean, he was there. I mean, I liked the design.
Really stereotypy. The design was okay, but it was just a stereotypical character.
Yeah.
You know, it was.
He felt very, stereotypical Mexican gangsterish.
They could have at least got Danny Trejo to play him, and they could have had like Danny Trejo's body.
I love me some Danny Trejo.
Yeah, see, that would have been cool.
Mind, yeah.
They made him the ugliest, most stereotypical.
Yeah.
Or even if they got the voice of the guy from Bruce Almighty. The Mexican dude with a monkey flew out of his butt.
I haven't seen that movie.
Oh my god! Sorry. Later on in the show, we're gonna be doing like movies that Magnus has never seen because it's a large list.
I mean, it's not that large. I've seen plenty of movies. I've seen this movie.
Yes.
Okay, and so I guess next up in the roster, I felt underutilized character was Tombstone.
Oh yes.
I mean, he was there sort of as Kingpin's bodyguard.
Well, that's kind of what he does. He always seems to take a secondary role.
Yeah, which I didn't mind, but like he didn't really talk much.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
Octavia slapped him around a little bit also.
I think he should have had more lines than Scorpion.
Yeah.
Like they should have put him in the forefront.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
Yeah.
I do like his fight between him and Spider-Man Noir. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, in Aunt May's house.
Yeah.
Where it's just like, what's the line?
We don't pick the ballroom. We just dance.
Yeah.
Something like that. Just his Nicolas Cage craziness, you just gotta love it.
Yeah, and sadly, there's not much to talk about Tombstone. He was there, he had guns, he used them once in a while, he used his fist once in a while.
Got his butt kicked.
Somebody who was in there even less was Green Goblin, which they kind of used more Ultimate Green Goblin.
That was the point, though, it was set in the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, but like it was like even bigger and just like it.
Well, that was.
He looked like a giant gargoyle.
We actually talked about this when we first were going to do this show, and like I said this, Peter's practically perfect. He would need like a Hulk, Green Goblin, or something to be a threat. I mean, basically, he has everything.
Green Goblin was always more than a physical threat. He was also a psychological threat.
Well, and the Ultimate Spider-Man on cartoons, he actually becomes a goblin, with that weird glove, which he did retain his intelligence, but he was more sinister.
Yeah.
Which I think that's what they were sort of trying to go for.
Mm-hmm.
But the story could have been more.
Yeah.
It could have had another 20 minutes on it easy.
Mm-hmm.
And no one would have noticed. I would have been more grateful.
I mean, it's such a good movie. I would not have minded an extra 20 minutes. I mean, maybe their budget or time restraints wouldn't allow for something like that.
They definitely left it open for a sequel.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say I love this movie. A few bad things, but other than that, loved it.
I guess other villains to mention just a little bit is the laboratory scientists. They all had briefcase and stuff that turned into guns. They shot. They were there. Just want to throw them out there, give them a little shout out, little guys. And then I think we're missing a bigger one. No, we're not missing. We mentioned him, but let's talk more about the Prowler. Because the Prowler is Miles Morales' uncle. Yes. And we know how what happens to family members in this case. So, huge spoiler.
Yes, well, we are spoiling this, and the movie has come out a while back. And
we waited a pretty good amount of time.
And I actually did talk about this in the Prowler, show. So.
Yeah. So I like the sort of staying consistent where Miles Morales' uncle still dies. I felt it was real weird that it was the Kingpin who shot him.
That kind of bothered me.
His suit wasn't bulletproof? Are you kidding me?
Okay, yeah, that was BS. Like, did Kingpin have the golden gun?
I mean, it could be cop killer armor piercing bullets.
I don't know.
I mean, it might have just been too brutal. Like his helmet was off. He could have shot him in the head, but that would have been brutal because then the brains would have splattered on Miles, which, try and keep it a little more, PG, keeping it out of R, but, like, Spider-Man Noir says, like, oh, that's a hardcore origin story, like, before that happened, like, how traumatizing would that be? Not only did your uncle die, his brains are on your face.
Well, I think they should have had Kingpin at least do the classic,
yeah.
Something like that. Or he sacrifices himself and Kingpin throws him off a building, you know what I mean, while they're fighting. That would have been, like, Kingpin's about to, like, beat the crap out of Miles and he stops him and he just throws him off. That would have been cool. But, and again, time constraints, I mean, the movie isn't, you can find flaws in everything.
Yeah.
But this movie has a lot going for it.
Yeah.
The fact they left it open for a sequel, on the DVD they had a Spider-Ham cartoon, which was all kinds of awesome.
Yeah. And so then... Also, Prowler was cool in it. Like, normally when I think Prowler, it's just like, oh, B-list villain, sometimes anti-hero.
Well, that's a good thing about a good writer. Like Jeff Jones, he took a lot of the C-listers, like the Rogues, they were a joke.
Yeah.
And made them into a formidable team. Or he took a C-lister like Black Hand.
Okay, yeah.
No, he was a D-lister. He wasn't even a C-lister.
Yeah, and made him effectively one of the deadliest top mobsters, and killed Spoiler.
No, that was Black Mask.
Black Mask. Oh, Black Hand.
Black Hand was the guy with the ring and murdered his parents to start the Black Lantern Corps.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good when you can take a minor character and just make it blossom.
Yeah.
Look at Mysterio. No one gave a damn about Mysterio, and now he's in Spider-Man Far From Home.
Looking good, also.
Yeah, of course, with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, he does great work.
I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm actually looking forward to that movie. I'm willing to give Marvel a second chance after Endgame.
Yeah. And... there's just so much to talk about this movie. Well, actually, another thing missing about the Prowler, he had his own theme music, which kind of sounded like
was cool.
Sort of the Star Wars, shuttle bay music. Well, not music, the sound when it's like their alarms going off, like. Whirr, whirr.
And that also starts off that "What's Up, Danger" song.
Yes, "What's Up, Danger."
Like,
it's good.
Okay, the best part of the movie, and this is one of the best realizations that a superhero can have, is when Miles is taking that leap of faith. And I've been dying to talk about this since we whether you're a hero or a villain, and this is something that's very necessary, you have to make peace with who you are. Not just peace, you have to accept it. You have to accept this is part of your life. We don't do this because it's fun or because it is fun. We do this because we're compelled. Hero or villain, yes. And it's just the game. And the game, any true villain or any true hero, Captain Cold, Flash, they'll tell you it's a leap of faith.
Yeah.
It's that moment where you realize and you accept who you are and you take that leap.
And I like that it wasn't any sort of immediate thing because it takes experience. And even you're mentioning heroes and villains, but I believe it was the first Avengers movie where Loki is in, I think, Italy, Paris, wherever it was, and he's just like, oh, I'm powerful, everyone bow, and the one guy stands up, it's like, no, I'm not doing it. And it's like, so just one old guy, all of his experience, it's like, bowing down to tyrants like you isn't okay.
Yeah, there's always men like you.
Yeah. And so...
Very powerful moment.
And so for Miles, it took experience of, once again, him seeing Peter B., him seeing Ghost Spider. And
it was him coming to grips with whether he wanted to be a hero. Because he had this power thrust upon him, he didn't know even if he wanted to be or even if he, was destined or and that's what's so powerful about it is that leap of faith that Peter tells him that's what they're telling him in the show. Yeah. And Peter, in a way, has to take that leap of faith too at the end. Yeah. He's holding where Miles is holding him over the portal, and he's like, just let me go, or just you gotta go home,
Yeah.
And in that moment, Peter has faith in Miles.
Yeah.
And he takes that leap of faith home, too.
Yeah.
Because he was going to stay and sacrifice himself because he felt he had nothing to live for.
Yeah.
And Peter realized that he needed to take that leap of faith in his next phase of his life. That fear was ruling him.
Yeah. And phase of life is the perfect example because for Miles, he's changing schools. And once again, I said that he's feeling further apart from his father. And so...
Well, the death of the uncle brings him closer.
Yeah. And I guess should also mention that the dad started out not liking Spider-Man, where it's just like, hey, saving the day, that's, cops' jobs. We don't wear masks, we do things by the book. Spider-Man swings in, punches some guys, hang them up from a street light with webs, and what, we're supposed to clean it up? It's like, we'll do it. It's our job, but, we have more than that,
Well, that's the difference between the law and the vigilante, that's a common comic book trope,
Yeah.
And they play it really well.
Yeah.
And I love how how the uncle before he dies, he says Miles is the best of all of them.
Yeah.
The cop, his mother, his uncle.
Yeah, which I believe the mother's also a nurse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know.
Well, she tells him something important. People in their family never quit.
Yeah.
They never give up.
Yeah.
And, like, it just, like, it's so different from Peter's personality. Or, you know, and I loved how he found his own kind of responsibility.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then plus Aunt May, a.k.a. Alfred May,
is
there to help him. I mean, you gotta see this spider cave.
I mean, and Aunt May, like, during the big fight scene in her own house, you know, things are breaking. She grabs a bat and, like, she hits one of them out of her house. I love
how she knows who Octavius is.
Yeah.
That was great.
Yeah.
It's just so many years of being, you know, Spider-Man's sidekick. It was just cool.
Yeah.
I love that. That's probably my favorite version of Aunt May.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to call that right now.
Yeah.
Favorite version of Aunt May. I hope she's in part 2.
Yeah, I mean, she probably is going to, and I think they want, you know, of course, Spider-Man 2099.
Oh, yeah, well, he's going to be the crutch. That device that he had will keep them from shifting.
Yeah.
Because they had that problem, because since they were in different multiverses, they were shifting, which doesn't happen in the comics, but hey, I'll accept it.
Although,
I'll take it.
It kind of makes sense, like, it, you know, the Spider-Man, you know, they're all part of the uber cosmic web that keeps all the multiverse, the multiverse together. And if you think, like, if one of them kind of moves over, like, the web might want to try springing them back, you know. So, you know, you could push it and make sense, and, you know, everyone's like, yeah, sure, why not, I don't mind. But, I mean, they need attention on, you know, just like...
Well, it was a nice way to make everyone go home.
Yeah.
You see, that's why I didn't mind it. It was a nice plot device.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind, you know. And then they found a way, you know, around it at the end. So I was like, oh, it's going to be off the chain now.
Yeah.
You know.
And...
the end, dude, where Spider-Man 99 goes back in time and to the original 1960s.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, why are you pointing? Stop pointing. I am not pointing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of taking shot at, like, the bad animation also. And, like, everyone's greatest hero, J. Jonah Jameson, I believe, made a final cameo in that ending scene.
Yep. And you just gotta love this one. I mean, it has a little something for everyone. Classic Spider-Man. It has Miles Morales in it.
Yeah.
Spider-Gwen. I mean, it has a lot of good things going for it. I highly recommend watching it.
Yeah, and I guess one thing we should also talk about, probably the last thing, keep this from going on way too long, is the art aesthetic.
Yes.
Yeah, so the graphics, rendering, animation, whatever you want to say and call it, it's amazing. It also had, like, a bunch of sort of graffiti art. It was very bright and vibrant.
Yes, even the multi-dimensional shift, it was a very odd, very jarring, but very jarring in a good way.
Yeah.
And I love how, like, they just go for broke.
Yeah, the ending fight scene where everything is mashing apart, falling apart. I mean, they were really pushing things, and yeah, it worked really well. So visually, everything was amazing. The music and sound effects were amazing,
and they went through different animation styles too with the characters.
Yeah,
very awesome. I would highly recommend watching it. It's great.
Yeah,
there's no other way to put it. You love Spider-Man, you will love this.
Yeah, and if you've already seen it, just go ahead and watch it again. It's really good. We've both already watched it a number of times.
Yeah, we listened to the soundtrack. It's one of the best things that came out of Marvel.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You got anything else to add?
I mean, unless we want to make it another hour long, you know, I think 30 minutes is good.
All right.
Yeah.
And remember, no matter where we go, the wind follows.
And what's up, danger?
And the wind always smells like rain. And and I'm the Comic Outlaw. This is Magnus, and we'll catch you on the flip side. Laters.
Later.